Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just waiting to go live. We should be live. First of all, I am going to sincerely apologize about my voice. We should be live, just making sure that we are online. Looks like it. Excellent. Excellent. All right, it looks like I am live. Welcome along. Thank you so much for joining me on this masterclass to healing your gut, reducing inflammation, fixing IBS and stomach issues. First of all, if you haven't already heard, I do apologize. My voice left me. It left me all alone by myself on Friday at some stage between 5 and 6 p.m. It took about an hour to go, and then it just hasn't come back properly. That was Friday. It's now Wednesday. I have no idea what's going on, but I am gargling as much ginger and turmeric as possible. I am making sure that I am keeping on top of my health as much as possible. So apologies if you can't understand me today. I'm sure it's not that bad. I'm sure you can understand. It does happen to kind of level out a little bit with a cough, so you might just have to suffer with the cough. So welcome to this masterclass. Now, I just want to state, guys, this is a disclaimer. I am not a doctor, okay? I am not a professional. I'm not a gastroenterologist. I am a health coach, okay? I am a health coach. I am certified health and life coach, and I am not claiming to be anyone else but that. But what I am teaching you is the research, the education that I have, and the everything that's gone in between that, all of my own studies, all of my own research that I have, that I am aware of, and that I have read and looked into, and combined with what works for my clients. Okay, so my clients are coming to me for gut issues, for energy, for weight loss, for inflammation, a whole selection, a whole variety of reasons why people work with me and why I work with other fantastic clients. But I want to tell you today everything that works for them. Okay. Now, not one thing, it's not a one size fits all, right? You're not going to start doing all of these things and essentially it's just going to work straight away. Okay. Some of you might need to go and see a specialist, a gut specialist, if you haven't already. Some of you might have already seen a gut specialist and just take on board what we talk about today. So just hang tight, grab a pen and paper. I'm not going to be talking for too long, hopefully. So if you are experiencing gut issues, inflammation, you want to fix IBS and stomach issues, maybe even if you're struggling to lose weight, then stick around. I've got some great pointers for you. Okay. If you're watching live, please drop into the chat and just say hi so I know that we are watching live. If you're watching live, write a comment for me. If you're watching on replay, now's your time to comment right now and just say replay for me. So first things first, let's just wait. Wash it down. So first things first, I urge you to get an intolerance, an allergy, and sensitivity test. Okay. I 100% urge all of my clients that have major issues, because what it does is essentially it's not like 1,000% accurate. However, it is going to help shortcut all of our work together. It's going to help shortcut your work to healing. Imagine if you did an elimination diet and after 17 weeks you found out that it was something that you hadn't tested until last, right? Elimination diets take a lot of time. You really have to cut things out one by one to understand what it was. You could cut out a whole category of things for sure. You could then, if your symptoms worsen or if they increase, if they decrease, then you can probably work out whether it was or wasn't one of those things in that category. But you're still going to take at least 2 weeks for every time you adjust your diet for your body to get used to it, for your body to acclimatize, and for you to then work out what the next step is. If you go and get an intolerance, sensitivity, allergy test, straight away, you are going to find out the things that have a triggering response in your body straight away. Now, I don't feel like I have anything in particular that I'm allergic to that causes me inflammation, and I'm very grateful for that. However, I still do tests, not very regularly because I don't have these symptoms, but I still do them. Now, I have just partnered with Test Your Intolerance with the UK, Test Your Intolerance UK. I've just started partnering up with them, and they are going to send me a whole package as well. And I'm going to do kind of like a little test, a little trial run for you guys, see how it is. But, you know, there are testers everywhere. Make sure it's a legitimate company. Make sure they test for as many things as possible. You want probably a hair, mainly blood test would taken. And it's going to be so much quicker to shortcut your health to healing. It's just going to dramatically decrease it, right, guys? So if you're wanting to know the guys that I'm partnering with, let me know. I will drop a link in the comments below, just if you're interested. But yeah, I'm working with them. I'm going to partner up with them. I've done a lot of research on different kind of brands because I get a lot of clients coming to me, and straight away I'm like guys, get a test done, get your test done. Otherwise, you're just wasting weeks and weeks and weeks of coaching when we could be doing focusing the coaching on the healing, not the finding out part, right? So because I have lots of clients coming to me, I've done a bit of research looking at what companies are really awesome, and I've decided to reach out to them, and they actually want to partner with me. So that's cool. So let me know if you're interested in that, and I can send you the link. Now, my second point there, okay, is to cut out or minimize processed foods. Now, cutting out is our ideal, right? Cutting out is ideal, but minimizing dramatically the processed foods that you have. If you have IBS, if you have gut issues, and you have processed foods, it is like a blinding light, right? It is like a lighthouse light shooting out at you saying, hey, you really need to cut the crap out. Literally, you need to cut the crap, okay? Refined sugar, salt, saturated fats, trans fats. These are hell on the gut. Not to mention sweeteners. They are also hell on the gut. I don't know why it wasn't on my list. Sweeteners are terrible for the gut. So just think about anything that is man-made, that is heavily processed, or the food is modified to an extent where it's probably stripped of a lot of nutrients. If it is, then that is not going to be good on your gut. Things like sweeteners are terrible for them. Things like antibiotics are terrible for your gut. If you're someone who, I should have mentioned this 1 second. I'm just going to make a little caveat here in my notes. Awesome. So yeah, if you're having processed foods, they wreak havoc on the gut, okay? Now, what happens is you might be eating your saturated food, saturated fats, trans fats, your sweeteners, your sugars, your salt, whatever. You might be eating all of that, and you might think, yeah, cool, I'm fine. And then you have something that is of a slight trigger to your stomach, and then you get the symptoms, right? So this is how people often get it wrong. The actual damage to your gut was being made by the processed foods. This is just an example, and it could be with a whole food. This actually could be with the case of chickpeas, for example, okay? But what usually happens is your gut is damaged by something, and often it's a lot of processed foods, it's sweeteners, sugars, it's salt, it's a lot of fats, it's antibiotics and other drugs. So what happens is that your gut gets absolutely bombarded by these things. It becomes pretty much disabled. And then what happens is you throw down something that is slightly triggering already to your gut, okay? Perhaps you're not used to this food. Perhaps you just don't have enough of the bacteria in your stomach to help digest this food properly and process the food properly. What happens is because your digestive tract or your gut is already impaired, then the triggers happen, the symptoms happen. That's when the bloating happens. And that is when you think that it was the apple that you ate at 5 p.m. But actually the damage was caused by the foods that you were eating or drinking, consuming way before then. That just happened to be an irritant. So cutting out the crap, literally cutting out the crap, is going to have one of the biggest impacts on you. If you're one of these people that turn around and say, yeah, but Bianca, but lentils, everything triggers me. Everything that I eat, it triggers me. Then you have a serious problem and you definitely need to see a specialist. But before you do, and you're not in too much pain, or before you do, because it takes a while to see someone, start cutting out all of your processed foods. Just start somewhere. Start with beverages, start with fast foods, start with pastries, and just get rid of the crap, okay? And the more crap you get rid of, the easier it is to crowd out all of the crap and bring in all of the good, healthy foods, okay? Let me know if this is making sense. Hi, Angie, nice of you to join us. Now, my next point here is fiber. We want as much fiber as possible. So we want soluble fiber-rich foods, right? So this is like oats, beans, lentils, fruit, vegetables. This helps regulate your bowel movements. Regulating your bowel movements is going to ease constipation. So when we think of fiber, we think of whole foods. Again, we're moving away from all of the processed crap and more towards the fiber-rich foods, right? So think about increasing as much as that fibrous foods as possible. I'm not talking about increasing your cereals to like Weetabix every single day, okay? I'm talking whole foods. Did it grow? Does it look like you probably could have dried it up and then put it in a packet, or picked it from the tree, or picked it from the bush, or pulled it from the ground? Think about whole foods, yeah? We talk about all vegetables, fruits, lentils and beans and legumes, pulses, nuts and seeds and grains, all of these beautiful foods. These are your whole foods. They all contain fiber. With your increase of fiber, it is extremely important. So moving on, it is extremely important to stay hydrated. The problem with an increase in fiber is you need an increase of water to help flush it all out. If you don't have as much water, especially if you're increasing your fiber intake, you're going to really struggle, because then it is solidifying, it is waiting to be moved, but you've not got the power to push it through, okay? So make sure if you're increasing your fiber, you're also increasing your hydration. I can almost guarantee you the majority of people watching this video also don't drink enough water in the first place, regardless of whether they're having enough fiber or not. So you always want to make sure that you're increasing your hydration regardless. Yeah, it's going to help you stay satiated. It's going to help fill you up. It's going to help you stay hydrated. It's going to help you stay clear, focused. It's going to improve your memory, your clarity, the energy that you have, right? It's all encompassing. So it's perfect weight loss tool is hydration. Again, just one of the most underrated things there are out there for weight loss, right? Now, I made a note of this earlier because I forgot to write it down on my notes, but I'm going to talk about a little bit about probiotics, prebiotics, and antibiotics as well. So I want you to think of your gut. It is full of bacteria, right? Good bacteria that we need. Now, the more antibiotics you feed the good gut bacteria, the more you're going to kill off. But we need that good gut bacteria. So feeding your good gut bacteria with probiotics such as sauerkraut, rich foods to help balance the gut flora. So a lot of hang on a minute, did I say probiotics? Oh god, do you know what? It's really bad, but I always get them mixed up. Um, so sorry, we're looking at probiotic foods. So we are looking at fermented foods, okay? Probiotic foods are the things that are going to have the good gut bacteria within them. So if you think about fermented foods like sauerkraut, you can have miso, kimchi. We want to look, of course, at non-dairy yogurts that have the probiotics in. So a lot of them have them in there. You can still have soy or coconut yogurt with probiotics. Natto is also a form of soybean that is fermented. So again, it holds a lot of that good gut bacteria. Mentioned sauerkraut, mentioned kimchi, and other pickled vegetables, but that are properly pickled. So again, that's not pickled, so that are properly fermented. Okay, so just think of things that they don't just have vinegar and sugar in. So these aren't really commonplace in like the English cuisine, I can assure you that. So if you've never heard of these things, just take a minute to go out and find them on the internet, find them at your grocery store, see where you can find these foods. If you're interested in what foods are really good for your gut, that are going to help feed your gut with the good bacteria that you need to help overcome all of these issues, please just drop a comment below and I'll let you know what they are. Okay, so antibiotics are going to kill off a lot of good gut bacteria. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. And if she's in this group, I feel sorry for you. But my ex-girlfriend had really bad IBS problems, really bad stomach issues. The problem is she was going through a lot. She went through a lot of surgery. And so she was constantly taking antibiotics. She also had a staph infection as well. So constantly taking a lot of antibiotics. Now, what happened is she already had a slightly damaged gut anyway, because she never used to consume a lot of those plant-based whole foods, right? So in increasing those plant-based whole foods kind of gave her a bit of a dodgy tummy. So she maybe kind of avoided them. She then increased her antibiotic intake because she kind of had to stay alive. And then that then impacted her gut bacteria really, really badly. So coming out the other side of it, the antibiotics had killed off a lot of that gut bacteria, right? And that is when her stomach went just completely south. Excuse me. What then happens is then she's really, really struggling to process these whole foods. So she went off of a plant-based diet onto meat. But while she started consuming meat again, meat and dairy, she started increasing the foods that have the good probiotics. So increasing again the fermented foods such as kombucha, and I think she was increasing sauerkraut, whatever it is. But she's drinking a lot of that kombucha, homemade kombucha. This is like a fizzy beverage. It's fermented. It's almost vinegary, but you can flavor it however you wish. Again, it's got that good bacteria, so it's just a matter of feeding that in. And she now has started consuming stuff that she could never even go anywhere near, and chickpeas and beans, right? So even just eliminating them completely, building in the good bacteria into your gut, and then bringing them back in slowly, very slowly, that is going to really help get over that as well. That's going to reduce the IBS symptoms, reduce the inflammation, reduce the bloating and the pain in your stomach, right? Because you've cut the stuff that's the irritant out, and then you're feeding your gut and then bringing them back in and reintroducing. So when you reintroduce, you've got to be really, really careful. Do it slowly and do it carefully. I am really sorry. I'm just going to have to do a cough here because my apologies. My throat, this is like the most I've talked in the last 3 days, so I apologize about that. Anyway, so now I want to move on to practicing elimination diets. Why did I bother doing this live when I can't even freaking talk? I have no idea. So practice an elimination diet. Like I said, it is a lengthy process. So I recommend doing the tests, okay? So if you're doing an elimination process to find out what foods you're allergic to, do the test first, right? Get the test done. It's only going to cost you like maybe 20, 30, even up to maybe £80. But imagine if you spent that money once and then you eliminated and you were able to eliminate straight away all of your symptoms, all of the issues, reduce the symptoms and issues, and then have those foods later on straight away because you were able to find out what they were. It's just so worth the money, guys. It really is worth the money to get the test done straight away if you don't know what you have an issue with. But once you find out what your triggers are, remove them. Yeah, remove them. You might have a boring diet for a couple of weeks. So fucking what? Okay, it might be a couple of weeks if you have a boring diet, but honestly, guys, for a couple of weeks, suck it up, buttercup. Have a boring diet. Just eat the same old things if it's easy, or if you've not got many intolerances, then you still got so much to choose from, right? Increase your variety of other foods. Increase your vegetables wherever possible as well, and just suck it up for a couple of weeks, especially if you're one of these ones that are going, oh yeah, but I don't know what I'm going to eat. Suck it up for a few weeks, because honestly, your life can change dramatically if you sort out your gut issues. Your energy is going to skyrocket. Yeah, your symptoms, your clarity. Your gut is your second brain. You've probably heard this everywhere, but your gut is your second brain. It is the know-all and freaking be all, right? It is so intelligent. There is literally a nerve that connects the brain to the gut, and they communicate. The phrases, the sayings of trust your gut, everything, your intelligence comes from your gut, right? Our brain just processes that information into logical words and feelings and emotions. Your gut actually is the source of everything. So it is so important to keep it healthy, to keep it well, because it's going to keep you well. Okay, so practice an elimination diet, reintroduce things extremely slowly once you've built up that good gut bacteria, and be kind to it. Another point I've got, guys, is be very mindful when you eat. If you eat slowly, if you chew 30 times, if you avoid overeating, you're going to reduce the stress on the gut so much. Yeah. So even if you're not eliminating everything and you just practice mindful eating, it is going to be incredibly important for you to be able to start reducing those symptoms. Get regular exercise. So I want you to engage in regular physical activity. There is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be moving your body every day. Absolutely none, right? And engage in regular physical activity to support your healthy digestion, to relieve stress. And this, because if you don't relieve stress, stress can exacerbate gut issues, right? Stress, again, mental connection between the brain and the gut. It's so clever. It's so clever. And if you feel stressed, your gut is stressed. If you are feeling stressed in your gut, you're unable to digest food properly. It's going to create more of the symptoms, worsen the problems. So reduce your stress. Practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, like meditation, like yoga, like journaling, like taking time out, like enjoying 2 minutes on the toilet in your break without being on your phone, because your phone is then therefore another stressor, right? So reduce your stress wherever possible, because your gut will be thankful for it. Moderate your alcohol. You're going to hate me, but also caffeine and spicy foods. So alcohol, caffeine, and spicy foods. When you consume these, consume them in very small amounts, right? Moderation. Excessive consumption will irritate the gut. And I know it's such a pain in the ass. But these things are going to really irritate it. Who doesn't want a life without alcohol? But even just say to yourself, look, Sunday through Friday, inclusive of Friday, or Sunday through Thursday, I'm not going to drink. And then Friday and Saturday, I'm going to allow myself 1 glass of wine. If you're someone who always wants a glass of wine every single day, then start cutting it back. Start cutting your caffeine back. Start reducing the spicy foods. You can still have spices, but reduce the heat spices. Practice having regular meals. So aim for regular meal times, avoid skipping meals to maintain a consistent digestive routine. Look, I always preach about eating when you're hungry, stopping when you've had enough, okay? But if your meals are all over the whack, you're gonna really, really struggle with keeping a balanced gut. One thing that might help your gut as well is looking into a little bit of fasting. I don't personally recommend fasting as a shortcut to weight loss. There is a small benefit in fasting, and that's why we call it breakfast, right? Because usually you wouldn't have eaten for about 12 hours. So make sure your last meal to your breakfast, you're going to be adding at least 12 to 14 hours. I would say that would be one of your best fasts to do, but keep it on that. Like I said to you, right? Medical guidance is going to be important. I am not here to step in the place of a doctor. I'm not here to step in the place of a specialist. So make sure you consult your healthcare provider. Make sure you go and get some specialist advice. Make sure you look at getting tailored advice if you've got IBS symptoms or gut issues. Okay, this video is not in replacement for, and I'm not a specialist, but these are the things that have worked for my clients. I want you to remember, so some takeaways that my clients have had that have really, really helped to them. Excuse me, I'm going to have to put this on mute again. I'm so sorry. So some things that have helped my clients have been one thing that's helped Sarah is knowing that what is healthy for everyone is not necessarily healthy for her. So even though she was 100% whole food plant-based, right? Super, super healthy. She didn't eat junk food. She didn't eat any processed foods. She was still having these symptoms. The thing is, chickpeas is a whole food, but she was struggling to digest them. And this was causing a huge irritation in her gut. She then found out that red lentils were a bit of an irritation too. So what's healthy for one person might not necessarily be healthy for you, which again is why taking the test, I think, is so important. So lesson from my client is make sure that you are really individual with your approach. Make sure you are looking at what works for you, not works for everyone as a whole. I've given you a bunch of pointers to think about, to look at, and to consider, but make sure that they all work for you as well. Make sure that they are useful for you and your body, your body, the way your body operates. If you know that eating a specific food is always going to be a trigger and you're not too sure whether it was the thing that was damaging your gut or if it was the trigger, just cut it out anyway. Yeah, just cut it out. Don't want you to be going through all of this pain thinking that this is exactly what you've got to do because it's a whole food, because it's a healthy food. Another thing, let me think of one of my other clients and some takeaways and lessons that she's learned. So one of my clients gave me a whole list. So she actually did a test before we came together, before we started working together, and she did a whole list of, or she had this whole list of things that she couldn't have, things that she were allergic to, like red and yellow light foods that were just like, probably shouldn't eat this, and you definitely shouldn't eat this. And one thing that has been really, really useful for her is not focusing on all of those red light foods. Yeah, not focusing on those green light foods, the ones that are an irritant to her, but really, really focusing on those green light foods. So making sure she was increasing all of the foods that she could have all of the time. And what that focus does is it takes the focus away off of the things that she can't have. It reduces that mindset of limitation. It reduces that mindset of lack of, and then it focuses on abundance. It focuses on everything that you do get to have, that she gets to eat, that she gets to add to her food. And it's just that shift in mindset I noticed was a huge help for her. Huge help for her. So if you're okay, before we go on, one thing that I have been told is I've had a client come to me. She's seen multiple specialists, right? She has seen doctors, specialists, she's had IBS medication. She's done a lot. She came to me. I'm a health coach, and I said to her, hey, look, I'm a health coach. That's, I'm a habit coach. I help with the habits. I'm a nutrition coach in the terms of I will help you develop your education, your nutrition, improve it. But I'm not a specialist. She said, yep, that's totally fine. I literally have, she said, and I'll share this with you, I have no other choice. And I was like, okay, fair enough. She came to me and we were able to fix the problems that the specialists weren't able to fix or pinpoint or understand. Okay, so regardless of whether whether I am a professional or not, you can still work on your intolerances, allergies, on these symptoms. You can still alleviate these symptoms. You can still help with these problems, the gut issues, the IBS, the inflammation. You can still help by doing all of the things that I've said, and also by just going into a little bit of coaching, whether it's with me, whether it's with someone else, and just cleaning up your health habits, just cleaning up your diet, just slowing down, just reducing your stress. All of these things actually are related to IBS, digestive stress. So even though I might not necessarily be a professional, all of my clients who have come to me with gut issues have walked away feeling heaps better. Okay, so I'm just going to blow smoke up my own ass there for a little bit because I think I'm allowed. It is my Facebook group after all. So guys, grab yourself a pen and paper, write down everything that you eat, write down everything that you feel, and start honing in and looking at where the patterns lie. Okay, now I've got two things for you. One thing, if you have had it up to here, if you are ready to make a change, if you're ready to step out of feeling 9 months pregnant, if you're ready to step out of pain, irritation, feeling nauseous all the time, not having an appetite, always having an appetite, maybe just not wanting to eat, fearful of eating, why don't you make the use of the consultation call that you get for coming into this group if you haven't already? If you have, then we can just get on a quick call and see if I can help you. If not, that's totally fine. What you'll do is you'll walk away with some clear steps on what I would recommend you to do to help fix your problems at the very least. Okay, the second thing that I'm going to do, so just DM me, just message me and say consultation or consult, and we'll sort that out. The second thing that I'm going to say to you is get a freaking goddamn test. Get a test, just go get tests. If anything, it's going to speed up your process to healing. If anything, it's going to give you a better insight as to what your body is screaming out to you without you having to learn how to listen to it, learn what it wants, learn what it needs, learn what it doesn't like, because that is a lengthy fucking process. I can tell you that now, it's a lengthy process. If I cannot stress enough, guys, go and get a test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in the company that I've just partnered with in the comments below, because I've done all of my research, they are the ones that I recommend going with. And the fact that they literally said that they'll do a partnership, I was like, what? That's awesome. I was like, that's cool. So I'm going to drop their link in the comments below. Definitely recommend them. I'm going to be doing my own test as well anyway, so it'll be cool. We can share results. I hope this session has helped. Folks, if you're really struggling, please reach out. It's what I'm there for. I give away so much of my time for free, so much of my advice for free, so much of my recommendations for free. So just ask. There's no harm in asking, right? Anyway, don't forget to DM me and say consult call or consult if you want to jump on a call to see if I can help you or not. If anything, you're going to walk away with some clear steps, understanding exactly what it is, where you should start, and then you can go off and find someone or something that works for you. And my second point is, if you're watching this, that means you have gut issues, inflammation, and it means you probably have IBS. One of them, maybe you've got stomach issues, maybe you've got low energy. If you're watching that, then that means that I recommend getting the goddamn test. All right, I'm gonna go. Peace out. I'm gonna rest up my voice, and I will see you guys later. Much love. I'll see you on the other side. Bye.